Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Ooh, 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 ooh. Yes. We're finna get down, get down. Get down, get down. Really? Hello, Polo. Polo's in the house. Polo's in the house. All right. Good morning, Polo. How is it going? Hello, Pickles. Welcome. It's so good to see you. Yes, 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 yes. Ooh, I got some great videos for us today. I do. Sounds like he's trying to make a deal with Iran, but who knows if it's true or not. It's word on the curb. hmm Word on the curb is he's trying to make a deal with Iran to get out of the war. He's negotiating. Who believes he's negotiating? Raise your hand. Thank you very much. We're just going to talk about Trumpadoo for a little bit. Let's give it a couple of more minutes. Let everybody towards me. Come towards me. That's a movie from the Titanic. Come towards me. Come towards me. Hello, 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 hello. What song y'all want me to sing? It's the Mimi Show. 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 Yeah. Can I get a witness? A witness for Jesus? Can I get a witness? A witness for Jesus? Hello, 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 wonderful people. I got my coffee dew, got my Xanadu's in the chat. It's so good to see you, Polo. It's so good to see you, Pickles. I'm so honored for the support. It really means a lot to me. Hello, Carl. How's it going in Dubai? We were worried about you the other day. Are you in a safe zone? All right, let me open up my first.
Regarding Andrew, I think he should be treated like everybody else. If this was like...
All right, let me see here. All right, here we go.
Regarding...
All right, this is doing what it wants to do and not what I want it to do. So I got to go and do it the other way. All right, let's get videos. Let's start. Let's see. Is this the end? Trump pushes U.S. to fatal collapse. Full podcast. We're not doing the full podcast. All right, let's see what's going on here.
Donald Trump is panicking as world leaders are publicly predicting catastrophic fallout from Donald Trump's disastrous war, no matter what. Donald Trump is panicking as world leaders are publicly predicting catastrophic fallout from Donald Trump's disastrous war, no matter what happens from here on out. Also, you have the Iranian regime rebuking Donald Trump yet again and saying, let's be very clear, we are not negotiating with Donald Trump or anyone in the Trump regime. Donald Trump attempted to manipulate the markets yet again earlier this morning, and for a short period of time he did that, but then the markets turned against him yet again and turned against the American people yet again as the consequences of his lies, his deceit, his catastrophic war are now clearly setting in yet again. So you have Italy's defense minister said the following on the consequences of Trump's disastrous Iran war for Italy and the rest of the world. He writes or says, I'm forced to know things about what could happen in the coming weeks and the effects it will have on the economy and our daily lives that no longer allow me to sleep. Meanwhile, South Korea's president said today, the world is in turmoil over the energy crisis. The situation is so serious that it has even kept me up at night. The immediate problem is grave enough, but the outlook ahead seems even more unstable. The situation is worse than expected. And folks, the way we saw what was happening with COVID back in 2020, as Donald Trump was denying it, and right before Easter saying like a miracle it was going to go away, we're going to bend the curve. And then we saw it grow and grow and grow. Well, we have that happening right now, and it's a Donald Trump unlawful war against Iran. And this time, whereas COVID wasn't out there saying what was happening, I mean, here we have the Iranian regime calling Donald Trump a liar, saying that Donald Trump is making this up, and saying that Iran is not going to leave the Strait of Hormuz, that the same economic architecture that existed before the war ain't going to exist anymore. Again, I want to go through the data, the details, the facts, not the spin, and show you what's really happening out there. So you have Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson, Baghei. He gave a press conference today where he reiterated Iran has not had any direct negotiations or indirect negotiations with the United States. What has been communicated to us, whatever you may call it, the Iran foreign minister, like their press secretary says, is 15 points more or less, are a set of very excessive, unrealistic, and irrational demands. Iran has been clear about its position from the very beginning, and we know very well what the framework is that we are considering. The material conveyed to us has been excessive and unreasonable. The meetings that Pakistan has are a framework that they established themselves and that we did not participate in. Let me show you what Iran's foreign minister said moments ago. Play this clip.
We have had no direct negotiations with America so far. Since the last round of negotiations until now, the US.
That's what I'm saying. Why is Donald Trump lying to us or telling us stories and saying that they're negotiating with Iran and they're not? This leader just said he has not been negotiating with us. Not until as of recently. And is it a negotiation? Or is Donald Trump telling them what they're going to do? Hi, Demon Dictator. Hello, Craig. Hello, Shanoa. Hello, Maureen. It's good to see you.
Demands have been very excessive, unrealistic, and illogical. The meetings that Pakistan has with neighboring countries are, well, a framework they themselves have established. We have not participated in this framework. Can it be allowed that Iran and Iranians be in a position of confronting the illegal aggression of America and the Zionist regime to use the available capabilities on the soil of regional countries while our armed forces remain silent? The duty of every authority demands that it respond to such cases with.
And meanwhile, the guy who Donald Trump claims that he's negotiating with, the head of Iran's parliament, MB Ghalibaf, has continuously denied that he's having any conversations. And he said, why would we still be controlling the Strait of Hormuz? Why are we not allowing any American ships to pass? We're only allowing 2 Chinese ships to pass because they are our allies, and the Pakistani ships have nothing to do with the United States. We're having no negotiations, and that Trump is engaged in market manipulation. MB Ghalibaf predicted exactly what would happen in the market today. He goes, heads up, this is what he said earlier. Pre-market so-called news or truth is often just a setup for profit taking. Basically, it's a reverse indicator. Do the opposite. If they pump it, short it. If they dump it, go long. See something tomorrow, you know the drill. And he was right. It's exactly what happened. Iran's parliamentary spokesperson, they're calling him the Oracle of Tehran. Markets initially rose after Trump's early post threatening Iran's energy sector, but then the S&P 500 tanked. The market slid in general. Oil prices continued to surge. Donald Trump started posting videos of himself from the 1980s and the 1990s where he was talking about seizing Iranian oil. And that's the statements that Donald Trump made to the Financial Times. Well, we're going to seize their oil. We're going to take their oil. It's going to be ours. Okay, well, you're just helping the Iranian propaganda and the Iranian press efforts to their people say, look what the Americans are doing. They're saying it. They're saying they want to engage in war crimes. They're saying they want to attack our desalination plants and energy infrastructure, which are per se war crimes under international law. So after Iranian spokesperson gave that press conference, you had Caroline Levitt hold a press conference. And here's what she had to say about the Iran war timeline. Let me show you what she had to say. Well, I'll show you actually what she said over here, where she said, the president insists negotiations are underway. And the reporter says, the president insists that negotiations are underway. And he has said Iran has agreed to most of the 15 points, but Iran says no negotiations are taking place. How do you explain that discrepancy? Here's what she says. Play this clip.
Americans are sort of seeing these conflicting messages between the United States and Iran. I know the president insists that negotiations are underway. As you just mentioned, he's also said that Iran has agreed to most of the 15 points.
He's a confusing president. He says one thing and then he does another. He said that Iran had a nuclear bomb and they were the enemy and we needed to go over there and protect ourselves. Now he's saying he's negotiating with them, which I don't believe that he is. Like the leader of Iran said, he's not negotiating anything. If he was negotiating, there wouldn't be boots on the ground. What is he trying to do? Trick everybody? Why don't he just tell the truth? Why does he keep going around the bush?
Heard from Iran again. They're saying no negotiations are taking place. They're calling the proposal excessive, unrealistic. So how do you square that? How do you explain that discrepancy between the two?
I think the American people are smart enough not to take the word of a terrorist regime that has chanted death to America for 47 years at their word. And I hope the journalists in this room are wise enough not to take an Iranian regime that has repeatedly lied about our country, about our values, about everyone in this room, frankly, for nearly 5 decades.
So again, she goes, it's a super secret negotiation. We're not going to tell you who it's with, but we're having it, while Iran's like, we're not negotiating with them. We've been very clear.
It's a super secret meeting. And Iran is saying, we're not negotiating with them. We haven't sat down with Donald Trump to negotiate any ceasefire or anything like that. And then Donald Trump is talking about, we're negotiating, we're in the negotiation, everything's fine. We're about to stop lying to the American people. The liathon is what is the sickest part of this. He says one thing and does another. Oh, I bombed them. The war is over. Everything is going back to normal. There's nothing normal about this. Then while he was golfing the other day, he was bombing them at the same time, but golfing. It just, what if the turntables were flipped? What if they were bombing us, Donald Trump? You wouldn't be playing golf then. No, just because he is not the head man in charge, Debbie, doesn't mean that he can't speak on behalf of everybody, that there's no negotiations going on. I'm sure that if there was some real negotiations going on, Debbie, that leader would know. Wouldn't he know that? Wouldn't he know if Donald Trump is in some type of peace talk or ceasefire situation? Yeah, he doesn't need to name who he's talking to and who he's negotiating with. But I do believe that person has something to do with the negotiation. He's like, Donald Trump's not reaching out to us. He's not negotiating anything with us. It shouldn't be that difficult. Why would that man lie on Donald Trump? It's just so bizarre. All right, back to the situation.
He's lying about everything.
He's lying.
More from Caroline Levitt here, and she says that the U.S. is now considering forcing Arab nation allies to pay for the U.S. war in Iran. So it's the U.S. war, and now the Arab nations have to pay for it. Let's watch what Caroline Levitt has to say right here. Let's play the clip.
Pay for the vast majority of the cost of the war. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, the UAE. Who's paying for the cost of this war? Will those Arab countries step up to do just that?
Well, I think it's something the president would be quite interested in calling them to do. I won't get ahead of him on that, but certainly it's an idea that I know that he has and something that I think you'll hear more from him.
Why is that funny? This is his war. Why would anybody else other than him pay for his frivolous war? Does that make sense? Make it make sense, somebody. Help a sister out. Help a sister out. Help a sister out. How in the world are you going to make me pay for anything after you done came up in my house and took my stuff? Because that's what happened. He's going in there to take the oil. Then he's going to make some other countries pay for what he's doing. Does that make sense? I'll wait. Make it make sense. Help me out. How are you going to go over there and steal the oil? Steal the island? How? And then after you get through stealing it, you're going to make the other countries pay for it. Who the hell do you think you are, Mr. Trump? Who do you think you're going to get to help you financially? These other countries. What do they look like paying for Donald Trump's war? Help me out, someone. Yeah, but all those people would know. All the leaders would know if there was some negotiations going on. And I don't think that particular leader is running around making a fool out of himself and saying, oh, he didn't talk to me, but he may have talked to Joe over there. So I don't really know. But according to what I know, he hasn't spoken to me. No, that is incompetent. There are way too many geopolitical nuisance in play. What are you talking about? Which would make no sense to you. No, it doesn't. Just like this war doesn't make sense to me. Just like the fact that Donald Trump wanted to go over there and take their oil doesn't make sense to me. Doesn't make sense to me that he wants the other countries to pay for his frivolous war. I got a lot of questions with no answers. So you're against paying for a war, but you're okay with fraud in your cities. It's not just the administration, it's the whole effing system that is effed. The left with fraud, the right with its war. And I don't know how you can category one group of people being fraudsters. That's not true. There might be some people in that group that does fraud, but to say the majority is doing that is not fair and untrue. And this administration fails to understand that the people need money. They need the food stamps. They need Medicaid to survive. Thank you for your comment. No, I don't understand the leadership part of it. Is there some mystical about it? Is it some mystical mystery about the leadership? All I know is that Donald Trump is running around here lying, saying he's negotiating with Iran leaders, and he's not. No. Yeah, there's fraud everywhere. You can't just say fraud is here and not there too. What's she smiling for? What's funny? Why is getting Trump to have other countries pay for his war funny? I know it's funny because she thinks it's ridiculous. Now she's got to respond to Donald Trump's ridiculousness. Ridiculousness. Let's continue. Let's see what Carl is saying. If they don't get the airports together, someone might slip through the cracks. TSA needs to be paid. Now, I heard that they fixed that. Donald Trump went ahead and signed for them to get an increase in pay. But they're still shorthanded. Yeah, Carl, because people don't want to fly when the stuff ain't right.
And by the way, in response to this press conference, you have the Iranian spokesperson account in response to Caroline Levitt saying, Donald Trump has stated this will take 4 to 6 weeks. And then the Iranian press department responds, so the war will probably last another 10 years. Sorry, operation. Mocking her. Then the Iranian embassy in South Africa in response to Donald Trump saying that he's going to obliterate energy infrastructure in Iran, desalination plants, and other civilian infrastructure. The Iranian embassy says, let me correct you. The brave soldiers of Iran are hitting seriously the idiot, unreasonable regime of the USA, and they do it in all caps. I'm just showing you what they're saying over there because I know American media isn't giving you any of this perspective. Going back to Caroline Levitt, a reporter asks her, Donald Trump says he's going to blow up the desalination plants and the civilian energy infrastructure. Those are war crimes. What's your response to that? Here, play this clip.
The president posted this morning about, his threat that on leaving Iran, he said we might blow.
What about him bombing these places and their war crimes? Well, until they find him, Debbie, they got to get the second person in charge. There's always a group of people that are in charge. That's good. They also need to increase the traffic controllers, the airport, so no crashes. That's exactly what they need to do. Carl, that is correct.
blowing up and completely obliterating all of their electric generating plants, oil wells, Harg Island,
Right.
and possibly all desalinization plants. Under international law, striking civilian infrastructure like that is generally prohibited. Why is the president threatening what would amount to potentially a war crime with the U.S. military? And how do you square that with the administration repeatedly saying that the U.S. does not target civilians?
Look, the president has made it quite clear to the Iranian regime at this moment in time, as evidenced by the statement that you just read, that their best move is to make a deal, or else the United States Armed Forces has capabilities beyond their wildest imagination, and the president is not afraid to use.
He just said that civilians, they're targeting civilians. Are you not listening, White House press secretary? He said that they were going to start bombing innocent places where women and children are. How is that okay? And now you're going to justify it? Watch how she justifies it.
That's not what I said, Garrett. And you're saying the word potential for a reason, because I'm sure some experts are telling you that in your ear to try to ask me that question. This move is to make a deal, or else the United States Armed Forces has capabilities beyond their wildest imagination, and the president is not afraid to use them. That's not what I said, Garrett. And you're saying the word potential for a reason, because I'm sure some experts are telling you that in your ear to try to ask me that question. Of course, this administration and the United States Armed Forces will always act within the confines of the law.
How are they going to act within the confines of the law if they're doing war crimes? And I thought they cared so much about the Iranian people that how dare would they target these places where women and children could be? Why is it okay, Trump supporters, work with me on this, for him to bomb places where there are women and children? Why is that okay? And then unclassify it as not being a war crime when we know it is. But he cares so much about the regime and the people, and he cares. Remember what happened to the people? Now Donald Trump's over there trying to save the Iranian people. Make it make sense. David believes that Trump is the greatest president that's ever walked the earth. A lot of people would disagree with you on that, David. I don't remember that. David, the second level of leadership has been eliminated. They are down to the third and fourth level leaders who don't know what is going on. They know enough, Debbie, to know that they do not want Donald Trump over there with his missiles trying to take their oil. He just told him yesterday what he wanted. I want your oil. I want your oil. And I don't think Iran is weak. And that's why we keep underestimating them, thinking that they're weak. Their leadership is weak. Their plans are weak. Everything about what they're doing is weak. No, we're the imbecile. We're embarrassing ourselves. We're making this into World War III. Yeah. It's nobody else's fault with Donald Trump. This is his war. This isn't Iran. Iran did not strike first. No. I don't know about that, David, like I said. All right.
But with respect to achieving the full objectives of Operation Epic Fury, President Trump is going to move forward unabated, and he expects the Iranian regime to make a deal with the administration.
To that end, which of
Haley,
which
go
of
ahead.
those objectives would destroying a
Haley, go
desalinization
ahead.
plant most help?
Haley, go ahead.
What about American-made landmines that have been spotted in Iran, Caroline? Here, play this clip.
On one question on landmines, there's been some reporting that American-made landmines have been spotted on the ground in Iran. Did President Trump sign off on using U.S.-made landmines in Iran?
I don't have any comment on that report today.
Caroline, whether they're being used at all?
I don't have any comment on that. Karen.
A reporter then asks, so why was the administration okay with Russia breaking the embargo, sending its ships into Cuba when America said that the United States had an executive order saying any country that brought oil into Cuba or any other material assistance would face grave tariffs? Like, you threaten Mexico and you threaten Colombia and all these other countries, but you let Putin just go in there and go right into Cuba. By the way, probably giving Cuba weapons as well as other support in addition to humanitarian aid and oil. So what's your response to that? And then Caroline Levitt's like, well, it's a case-by-case basis, so that's why. I mean, Trump's a Putin bootlicker, just admit it. Then a reporter goes, well, what about Mexico? What if Mexico wants to do it? We probably won't let that happen. Here's what she says. Play this clip.
Right now. I'll take a few more. Solon.
Thank you. You listed the described humanitarian reasons for allowing that oil tanker to reach Cuba. Just to clarify, why was the administration okay with Russia sending that oil to Cuba and not other nations?
Look, this was a decision. It'll continue to be made on a case-by-case basis for humanitarian reasons or otherwise, but there's been no firm change in our sanctions policy.
President Obama of Mexico also said that Mexico is exploring different ways to restart some of those shipments to Cuba. Is the administration okay with that at this time?
Again, no change in our sanction policy. We still reserve the right to seize vessels if it's legally applicable that are headed towards Cuba and that violate the United States sanction policy. But of course, the president and the administration also reserve the right to waive those seizures on a case-by-case basis.
And to clarify, just any more Russian oil tankers going to be allowed to reach Cuba at this time? I know you said case by case, but for the case of Russia, is it pretty much green light right now?
No, that's not what I said. It's a case-by-case basis.
Well, Caroline, what's your message to truckers right now who are facing $5.38 per gallon diesel? Here, play this clip.
Cost of diesel is averaging at $5.38 a gallon right now. What's the message from the Trump administration to truck drivers who are dealing with those high fuel costs right now?
Again, we understand, we hear you, we see you. We are fully tracking this short-term fluctuation in oil and in diesel prices. And that's why the president and the...
She is spinning it and spinning it. Spin-a-doo, 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 doo-doo-doo-doo. Spin-a-doo, spin-a-doo, spin-a-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Spin-a-doo, spin-a-doo, spin-a-doo-doo-doo-doo. She's spinning. She know good and well the prices of oil is going to continue to get expensive because of this unlawful war of Donald Trump's. It's going to continue to get expensive. Diesel is up there. And the diesel truck drivers are feeling the heat. See how when one person does one thing and it affects everything else? See how Donald Trump started this war and now it's starting to affect everything else? Because you have, not only do you have these men and women in uniform that are going to put their lives on the line, but there's women and children that are innocent in this entire situation. I thought we had oil in reserve. Letitia, the people that are still defending Trump and his illegal war against Iran need to sign themselves and their loved ones up to be Trump's boots on the ground. The excuses, Shanoa, that makes no sense whatsoever. It don't, and it has nothing to do with nothing. Nothing. Spinadoo. Hello. Okay. Oh. Let's continue to see what else she's saying.
Administration have continually announced robust actions to provide stability in the global energy market. As you know, political risk insurance, one of those actions, allowing countries to purchase sanctioned oil just to increase the supply. In the meantime, we've worked to release 400 billion barrels of oil and refined products as well. We issued the 60-day Jones Act waiver. All of this has, with the goal of increasing supply to create stabilization in the market. In the meantime, but the overall message, as we repeatedly stated, is again, these are short-term actions and short-term price fluctuations for the long-term benefit of ending the threat that Iran poses to the United States of America, our troops, and our allies in the region, and ensuring that this regime can no longer control the world's free flow of energy through the Strait of Hormuz, which is something the administration continues to tackle day by day as well.
And then Caroline Levitt's like, the reason that we killed the prior leaders of Iran is that they were dragging out negotiations. That's why they're dead. Here, let's play this clip of Caroline Levitt right here.
The president says more reasonable. Again, these folks are appearing more reasonable behind the scenes privately in these conversations than perhaps some of the previous leaders who are now no longer on planet Earth because they lied to the United States and they strung us along in negotiations, and that was unacceptable to the president, which is why many of the previous leaders were killed.
Also, Caitlin Dornbos reports that Donald Trump confirmed to me today.
That is some crazy shit. I don't believe it. I don't believe nothing Donald Trump says. I really don't. I would have to see it to believe it that he killed all these leaders and there's none left to go. So who is he negotiating with? The rats?
That the U.S. is negotiating with Iranian parliamentary speaker Mohammad Baghir Ghalibaf. That's the MB Ghalibaf guy I told you about, saying we'll find out in about a week. Just wait 1 week, just wait 2 weeks. As our editor-in-chief, Ron Filipkowski, writes, Trump said last night and Rubio said this morning that they cannot name the person they were negotiating with or he would be killed by others in Iran. But now he claims he's negotiating with someone who's repeatedly denied. I mean, this is an utter humiliation ritual right now for the United States. And by the way, Iran continues to target its Arab neighbors who are providing material assistance to the United States and where there are American military bases located. For example, you have the UAE, Kuwait being struck, Bahrain still, being hit, Saudi Arabia. And take a look. This is in Israel right here. The location of the Iranian missiles hitting Haifa was announced. Haifa refinery and fuel tank. You can see right there these images of Haifa being hit. So there you have it, folks. We'll keep you posted every step of the way. Hit subscribe. Help us get to 7 million subscribers. Thanks, y'all, for watching.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack.
And then we're going to move on to Megadoo. Actually, let me check the time. Hold on one second, dude. Ooh. All right. We've got the Midas touch.
It's Lady Letitia. Letitia. Lady Letitia.
Ukraine's President Zelensky has checkmated Donald Trump, as Donald Trump has removed the sanctions against Russian oil, as Donald Trump has allowed Russian tankers into Cuba, as Donald Trump has invited the Russian Duma leaders into the United States Capitol and to meet with the State Department. You had Zelensky cooking behind the scenes as Donald Trump's security umbrella that was promised by the United States to the Middle East has been utterly destroyed by Donald Trump. Guess what Zelensky did? He headed to the Middle East and he basically told Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Jordan, Kuwait, and others, you're doing it wrong. These THAAD and Patriot systems, yes, they serve a purpose, these ones that are made by the US, but you can't be shooting these interceptors at these Shahed drones at the rate you're doing it. You're going to completely exhaust your interceptor munitions and your capabilities, and certainly your reserves. You got to focus on the way drone technology is utilized and fought against in modern warfare. You got to focus on interceptor drones. You got to focus on the right technology, the netting and other things to stop these drone swarms, how you shoot them down. By the way, at the Midas Touch Network, we did a whole documentary called The Drone Hunters of Kherson, where we were on the front lines with the drone hunters of Ukraine as they shared their expertise. So as Trump, from a security umbrella standpoint, has really betrayed the Middle East, Zelensky was right there this past week and a half. Who'd he meet with? UAE, Qatar, Jordan, and Kuwait. He describes these meetings, and he inked $1 billion deals because these countries that are now being hit by Iran in retaliation for Trump and Netanyahu's invasion of Iran, because they have American bases in it, they need to stop these Shahed drones and drone swarms of Iran and ballistic missiles. And Zelensky has both on the offense, he's been using the most advanced drone technology there is to strike Russian positions. And on the defensive side, using the interceptor drones, the netting, and other technology, drone jammers to stop the drone swarms. Zelensky writes as follows. It has been a very fruitful visit to the Middle East and the Gulf region. We already have landmark agreements with Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. We are also working with Jordan and Kuwait. Rustem Umerov is currently in the region, continuing political level negotiations, he reported to me today. And there are already additional requests from Bahrain and Oman. For Ukraine, this is not only a matter of prestige and respect for our people, it's a very practical matter. We are exporting our system of protection, the skills of our warriors, the knowledge that our state possesses. And from these partners, countries, we expect reciprocal security engagement. We have already agreed on opportunities to strengthen air defenses, on the joint development of defense production, and on energy cooperation, including diesel and other critical supplies that we need right now. So as Donald Trump is betraying Middle East allies, Zelensky's heading in there and inking sustainable 10-year deals that are win-wins for Ukraine and these Arab nations. You know, Donald Trump is like flipping out though, because like, in my opinion, okay, these meetings that were held in Miami between Witkoff and Kushner, and on the Russian side, Yushakov and Dmitriev, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to say they were probably talking about when can we find the perfect time to remove the sanctions on Russian oil. The Russian economy was crashing. They needed a bailout. The Iran war provided perfect cover for the U.S. to remove those sanctions against Iran. That's what the U.S. did. Remember, they invited then those Russian Duma, they're like the Russian Senate. Those leaders were in the capital last week. The Russian cargo ships also went to Cuba. Donald Trump's gone out of his way to help Russia. And now Donald Trump.
Demon Dictator, are you in here? If so, I don't have the Oprah Winfrey link. I was looking for it. If you could find it for me so we can play it, that would be great.
Is demanding that Zelensky and the Trump regime officials have demanded that Zelensky stop using Ukrainian drone swarms to attack the Russian oil depots and the Russian pipelines and the Russian export hubs and the Russian LNG facilities. Trump's like, you got to stop doing that, because even though Trump has removed the sanctions on Russian oil, Zelensky has stepped up the drone attacks and missile attacks on the Russian oil positions, which has reduced Russia's ability to export oil. And Zelensky responded very strongly to Trump. Here's what Zelensky posted yesterday. He goes, "We are not just carrying out strikes on Russia. We are responding. After the global energy crisis began, we received signals from some partners requesting that we reduce our responses targeting Russia's oil and energy sector. I emphasize once again, if Russia is ready not to strike Ukraine's energy infrastructure, we will not retaliate to theirs." Pause for a second. You notice that he's not using the U.S. by name, but who else is he possibly talking about? And so he's saying, as this global energy crisis began, right? He's not going to say it here because he's being diplomatic, caused by the United States and Israel, we received signals from some partners, right? He's giving cover to the U.S., but he's referring to the U.S. That's obviously coded language for the U.S., in my opinion, that we reduce our responses targeting Russia. Trump removes oil sanctions against Russia and then asks Ukraine, stop targeting the Russian oil that we've removed the sanctions on. Do you see what's happening here? And Zelensky's like, well, if they stop attacking our energy infrastructure, we'll stop attacking theirs. But as long as they're invading us and trying to destroy us, why would we stop our attacks on them? Does that make any sense to you, Donald? He goes on to say, we are open to discussing any type of ceasefire. A full ceasefire, an energy ceasefire, a food
ceasefire.
Security ceasefire, Zelensky says.
Fire.
We have already proposed all of this, and we are still open. If the Russians are ready, let them suggest any time frame. We are ready to resolve this issue. Okay, Zelensky says we've been saying ceasefire all along. The Russians don't want the ceasefire. The Russians want to take all of eastern Ukraine and then basically take all of Ukraine from there, that which they cannot take.
Yes, Maureen, I'm going to cover it right after this. I'm trying to find it. I got to get in contact with Demon Dictator. But I don't know where she is. Demon Dictator, where are you?
Lady Letitia. It's Lady Letitia. Letitia. Lady Letitia. Lady Letitia.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. Oprah. Oprah Winfrey. Yeah, I don't. No. Where is it? Okay, hold on. Found it. Found it. Hold on. Woo! Got it. Okay. We're going to wrap this up, guys, in about 5 minutes.
On the battlefield, they want America to give them in bogus, fake negotiations. And then Russia wants all of Ukraine. That's what the goal is. And Zelensky has said, on behalf of Ukraine, we want ceasefire. We've been saying it from day one. This isn't a both sides issue. Russia invaded us. We're asking for ceasefire, even though we've been able to repel Russia. Russia said they would take us over in 3 days. They haven't. They've been losing ground. Russia's losing, 30 to 50,000 soldiers every month are dying in this war, being sent into a meat grinder by Vladimir Putin. And Zelensky continues on. The Ust-Luga is on fire. The Primorsk is on fire. Almost 50% of Russian oil exports gone. Look, Ust-Luga, look at it right here. It's the main export hub of liquefied natural gas in Russia. So 40 to 50% of oil exports have currently stopped after Ukraine attacked the Primorsk, the Ust-Luga, and the Novorossiysk crude oil ports. At the same time, the Druzhba pipeline remains closed and multiple refineries have been hit. This is a big blow to Russia, Clement Mullen explains. With the war in Iran and the closure of the Hormuz Strait, the oil and gas prices have climbed. Russia was hoping to capitalize on the situation to sell more oil and gas at higher prices in order to rebuild its finances, especially as the United States removed sanctions against Russia. However, Ukraine acted to stop this. Over the last few days, Ukrainian long-range drones and missiles targeted all 3 Western ports used to export crude oil. The first one is this one, Primorsk, 900 kilometers north of Ukraine and 50 kilometers from Finland. You see it right here. Satellite images confirm. Satellite images, videos from the site, and the firms revealed a very large fire of the oil export installations. The fire has been spreading and Ukrainian forces renewed attacks. At the same time, the other Baltic Sea oil export port has been hit. That's Ust-Luga terminal. A picture from that shows the fire over there. The 2 other export terminals, the port of Novorossiysk and the Druzhba pipeline, which crosses Belarus and Ukraine towards Central Europe, have also been regularly hit in recent weeks, leaving them unusable. And Primorsk, that's Russia's largest oil export, had been basically blown up by Ukraine. Wow. Ukraine continued. Look at this other one right here. This is from last night. Ukraine launched another massive drone swarm attack against Russian oil export infrastructure on the Baltic Sea coast near Finland and Estonia. Looks like Ust-Luga was going to be hit again. And so you see what Zelensky's doing right there. More from Zelensky here, talking about his meetings in the Middle East. During my recent visits to the Middle East, we raised the issue of unblocking the Strait.
You can have a copy of mine. I'll give it to you. When it starts, I'll send you the link.
Of Hormuz. It's a painful issue for the entire world because of the energy crisis. Countries in the Middle East know they can rely on our expertise in this area. We discussed it in detail. We shared expertise on our Black Sea corridor and the way it operates. They understand that our armed forces have been highly effective in unblocking the Black Sea corridor. As for other aspects related to Hormuz, in my view, this is being handled by the United States. We are, of course, always ready to help our partners. So he's again saying, okay, as for the other, we'll tell you how we've secured the Black Sea and how we handle it in our area. Right now, we understand that U.S. is saying that they're dealing with Hormuz. So we'll back up. But if you need us, we're here. Do you see what he's doing right here? And he talked about not just inking these long-term deals with these Middle East nations, but also sharing the expertise and how you protect people and civilian infrastructure, because Ukraine has developed the expertise in fighting these drones that were given by Iran to Russia, the Shaheeds and the FPVs in Ukraine. So they have absolute experience. And then Zelensky went a step further. He spoke with Finland's president, Alexander Stubb, to talk about how we bring this to all of Europe. How do we make Europe stronger? He goes, I spoke with President of Finland, Alex Stubb. It is important that all of us in Europe coordinate in a substantive way. And it's so critical because Ukraine is Europe, but to constantly reinforce, we are Europe. Ukraine's like the critical nation of Europe right now because Ukraine knows how to fight better than any European nation at this point. It is important that all of us in Europe coordinate in a substantive way. That is exactly what we are doing with Alex. I briefed him on the meetings and negotiations in the Middle East and the Gulf region that I had in recent days. There are already strategic agreements in place, and our contribution to security and stabilization can be significant. Alex shared his own update. Security comes first. And right now, when the world is so destabilized, not a single day can be wasted. We need joint action and joint results. We are preparing communication formats with other European leaders. We also continue to focus consistently on efforts on the American track. Of course, we also discussed the drone incident that recently took place in Finnish territory. Alex and I see the situation the same way. We are sharing all necessary information. Thank you. And two other developments. So you have all the Trumpers continue to attack Zelensky. I mean, Don Trump Jr. yesterday posts, where did all the Ukraine aid actually go? Because it's looking like yet another example of massive fraud perpetrated against the American people. And it definitely needs to be investigated. Then he talks about his podcast called Triggered. I will be on the podcast Triggered with all of the breaking news.
What kind of question? Why is he questioning him about the money that we gave them? Where did all the Ukrainian aid actually go? Because it's looking like yet another example of massive fraud perpetuated against the American people, and it is definitely needs to be investigated. Every time Donald Trump doesn't want to pay for something, or he has a problem with a funding or a group, or like the food stamps or Medicaid, or like Lewinsky or allies, he doesn't want to help and he calls it fraud. So as soon as he starts saying fraud, that cuts the funding for that aid that people need. Yeah, he don't know where the fraud is, can pinpoint it, say this person is 22 years old, one kid, and don't need to be on food stamps and whatever, we're taking her off. Who the hell is Donald Trump? How is he going to tell us who is frauding if he doesn't even know? He doesn't even know who's frauding. But now he's saying the aid that we have given to the Ukrainians, they're using it and there's fraud there. There's something wrong with our president. He's the leader. He's the leader right now. Oh God, please, please. Please, with this rich couple. Okay, careful with the name calling. Spat. Robert, feel free to talk. Feel free to express yourself. No, that is not a lie. That is true. He removes the things that he feels like the American people don't need, and then he starts calling it fraud. He hasn't found any fraud. He hasn't investigated the fraud. He's just going to cut it off and hurt those that need it. I'm going to cut you off by the hedge, and there's no more. Good luck. Good luck to you and yours. Exactly, Maureen. There's fraud in everything. There's fraud up in the White House. There's fraud everywhere. But you can't just go around saying it's fraud and not have an investigation. And now he's saying that Zelensky is frauding. We've sent you money. What did you do with it? Hello, dingbat, come to town. Donald Trump is costing you $1 billion to $2 billion a day for this war in Iran. And you're asking Zelensky, why does he need money? Because he's at war with your best friend, Putin. Yeah, no, I don't know how many billions, but I do know it takes billions to fight a war. Come to find out. So it looks like he's run out of those billions and he needs more. He needs $1 billion a day too. If he's at war, that's what it's going to cost him. $1 billion a day. Right, Debbie? $1 billion a day. Oh. No. Wait a minute. You know what it sounds like to me? It sounds like the Republicans don't want to do shit to help nobody. They're greedy. Oh, they don't want to pay taxes. This is the Republicans. They don't want to pay taxes. They don't want to help the little people. They don't want to give to our allies. They don't want to help. But then do a flippy-do and start talking about the war situation. And we're going over there to help them because of the war, because of their regime, because of how and what is going on with them. And we're going to go over there and save them. It doesn't make sense. You can't have on one hand the president taking the things that you need to survive, and then on the other hand saying he's over in Iran trying to help those people. Make it make sense. Taking aid away. That's what he's good at. Oh, you don't need it. You don't need it. You don't need it. And you know what? The main people that are on food stamps is his people. It's his people. It's your people that need the food stamps, Donald Trump. That doesn't sound like a president that cares to me. Who woke up late? Oh, how's it going over there? Let's see what's in the chat. Trump Trump never actually talked to anyone from Iran, Nathan says. All your 320 billion went through thugs, mobsters in the Ukraine, and Ukraine to skin another country, etc. You're American short-minded dummies. Robert, careful. Don't call people names. It's not nice. Yeah, and they should have cut him off like the Ukrainian, like the Australia did. We're not paying for your stuff. That's a shame. They shouldn't have paid it. Debbie, I don't think the Ukraine should be hosting anything going on while there's a war. It is, Marine. Removing the food stamps is like mass murder. Yep. People will starve to death. People will go to bed hungry. But people don't care. They don't care. You know why? Because it's their tax money. The taxes. They should be able to fend for themselves. I don't want to have to help someone else. What was that excuse earlier that I read? Forgot. All right, guys, we're shutting this down.
Perpetrated against the American people, and it definitely needs to be investigated. Then he talks about his podcast called Triggered. I will be on the podcast Triggered with all of the breaking news. Seriously? I mean, after all Ukraine is trying to do, all the Trumpers do is attack Ukraine over and over again and go out of.
Why is he attacking Ukraine? Why are you attacking Ukraine? He doesn't like Ukraine. It's weird. And then because he doesn't like him, he won't support him.
Their way to help Russia. Right? I talked about yesterday Zelensky calling Trump's behavior strange. It's a bit strange, it's a coded word, but he goes, it's a bit strange that a country would be removing sanctions from the aggressor that's working with its enemy in a war to try to kill it. It's very strange to help the aggressor try to kill you. But that's what Trump's doing with Russia. Very strange, very strange. And then finally, I'll leave you with this, right? Germany's AfD, that's the right-wing extremist pro-Putin party in Germany. I don't think I'm even doing justice by calling it right-wing extreme because they're as far-right extreme Putin bootlickers as you can be. So because of that, Trump and J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio are all in AfD fans. We love AfD. Supporting the AfD because they view the AfD as a way to destroy the European Union, and that's what the Trump regime wants to do. So Germany's AfD, though, they're saying, we want the United States to withdraw all of its 40,000 troops from the country. As Jane Keeve writes, while the Trump administration spends millions of dollars, perhaps hundreds of millions of dollars, to promote Germany's Russian-backed AfD party, in the end, they will do Putin's bidding, not Trump's. Sadly, this move will garner even more support from the German electorate. So while Donald Trump is out there supporting the AfD is attacking Donald Trump. While Donald Trump's out there supporting Putin, Putin is attacking American soldiers in Iran. Zelensky's trying to help. Zelensky's doing all the work right now to help, and Trump and the Trump family continue to help Russia. there you have it. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. And thanks everybody for watching.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the My
Lady Letitia.
State regime media, which calls itself Fox News, was in a full collapse on live TV as Donald Trump's catastrophic war in Iran continues to spiral out of control and bring down his presidency. In the latest UMass Amherst YouGov poll, Donald Trump's approval was only 33%, the lowest in presidential history. So Fox propagandists like Laura Ingraham are trying to cope and come up with excuses for the collapse of Donald Trump's presidency.
It's Lady Letitia. Letitia. Lady Letitia. Lady Letitia. It's Lady Letitia.
When they did everything in their power, used all their propaganda tricks to try to prop it up. So last night, Laura Ingraham was like, we have a lot of questions we need to ask. Like, who were the people who were giving Donald Trump this information before we invaded Iran? Who gave Donald Trump the briefings? Or did they brief him at all? So Laura Ingraham trying to shift the blame to what? People like Pete Hegseth and people like the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and others, but not your dear Donald. When of course this is Donald Trump and Netanyahu's disastrous war in Iran. Here's what Laura Ingraham was saying last night. Let's play this clip.
Oh, hello, Eli. Hello, Mimi. Welcome to the show.
Still have a lot of questions. For instance, was the president fully briefed about the risks of all of this from the beginning? And was he then able to take it all in and understand the complexity of this, how complex it could actually get, and further possibilities of casualties or other damage, the difficulty of dealing with these people? Or was he told this would be relatively quick in and out?
And folks, her cope.
Did they say that this was going to be a walk in the park for Donald Trump? Or did they tell him the risk and everything involved, like casualties, like the American people being compromised, boots on the ground? That ain't good. There's nothing good about this. And what blows my mind, and will always blows my mind, Debbie, is you. You blow my mind when it comes to Donald Trump, because you know deep down that he's wrong. And he's a president that has done a lot of nefarious things. But you can see Meghan stuff, but you can't see Donald Trump stuff. It's like there's a blind eye in front of it. Because every time I say something about Donald Trump or we bring the real deal, you never talk about the subject. You talk about a different subject. And then you like to talk about the history. Or you like to talk about, what happened 47 years ago. Or you like to talk about what's going on in their country and that we have the opportunity to help them. We're not helping these people. Donald Trump said he wants to blow these people up. But we skip over that too. He gets away with this stuff from you. And it's interesting to see that you are always, at every point, defending his actions as if he's presidential. There is nothing presidential about this president. We got ourselves something. We have ourselves something. Hello, Adudel. Welcome. Hello, Michelle. Okay, now I hate Republicans. Oh, no, you hate Republicans. And that's all you know. Even though you're not smart enough to know Republicans are the ones that ended slavery, not Democrats. Democrats wanted slavery. Okay, Mitchell, what we're not going to talk about is slavery. And what we're not going to talk about is what that's not relevant to anything. What happened, I don't think that has anything to do with the war that we're talking about or the man that we're talking about. We're talking about Donald Trump. I do not hate Republicans. I find the Republicans in the White House very weak. Very weak. Disappointing. Very disappointed in our elected officials, because normally the Republicans wouldn't let this go down like this, but they have accepted this. And I don't know if there's because the Republicans in the House are scared of Donald Trump or they agree with it, because I remember in the beginning of time when he first stepped on the scene, they were against what he was about. Now all of a sudden they're kissing the ring. Why? No treats, Rocky. No more treats. Why? No. Be careful too, Mitchell, not to insult me. Okay? Because Donald Trump's the idiot, not me. He is. He's an embarrassment to our country. He's an embarrassment. And this No Kings protest was a glimpse inside what's going to happen in November. If he doesn't try to suppress the votes, or if he doesn't fraud, or if he loses, it will be fraud. Okay, Debbie.
Fest continued. Laura Ingraham was also saying, but didn't we, not want regime change? Wasn't Donald Trump's whole pitch no more Middle East wars? And wasn't that what he was telling the voters? She's like, I'd like regime change. It would be lovely, but we're kind of stuck in the Strait of Hormuz. It would be lovely.
They don't give a damn. They don't care about them people. That's the last thing on the list. Change. And of course, there's something in it for us. Because why would we do anything if we didn't have a stake in it? Ugh. Ugh. It's disgusting. The behavior is disgusting. Okay, now he's went back in the room. Excuse me. He's probably going to get on the bed and start barking now. We'll see. He is. He is with his fat self. Okay. You know, some people should just know better. And, you know, just adults should just know better. And if you don't, I got to delete your comment or I'm going to time you out. I'm going to ban you for good. And here's the problem about me banning you for good. I don't know how to unblock you. So once I banned you, you can no longer come in my chat. That should be a big deal. Hey guys, please hit that like button. I'm trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. I'm at 650. We can get there. I need your help.
Lovely? What kind of deranged things are they saying? But watch what she says here. Here, play this clip.
Well, for sure, Congressman, but you just threw in regime change. Like if President, that would be phenomenal. Obviously, it would be great. But we don't even have the strait fully open yet for safe passage of all these tankers. So, I mean, that wasn't what the American people thought they were getting with President Trump.
In other words, even if we were to take the oil, we don't have a pathway to go and pick it up and bring it back. Just doing stuff, putting Americans in harm's way, in danger. Because he doesn't give a damn. He's playing golf. He's doing his thing. Hi. And Sue.
When they elect him was someone who wanted regime change in Iran. We wanted to eliminate them as a threat. And I think the administration itself has said that regime change fairly consistently, although it would be great, is not their goal. Am I missing something here? Because again, it seems like we're leapfrogging to regime change, again, which would be fabulous.
And then Laura Ingraham had this Gaston Arroyo, and they both started mocking Lindsey Graham, one of the architects with Donald Trump of this disastrous war in Iran. That's how they're coping as well. Lindsey Graham, one of the people that Laura Ingraham was clearly referencing in the earlier clips that I showed you. And Lindsey Graham was spending the past 24, 48 hours in Disney World, and he had this bubble gun that, by the way, my little daughter loves, while he was at Disney World, and he was waving it around at Magic Kingdom. And Laura Ingraham and her guest Arroyo were like, yeah, that's kind of weird. And they referred to Lindsey Graham as single and childless Senator Lindsey Graham dropped into Magic Kingdom to play with his pink bubble gun. That's how they're referring to it on state regime media. Here, play this clip right here.
Single and childless South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham dropped into the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, Laura. He claims he was doing business in Florida, a lot of it at Chef Mickey's at the Contemporary Resort. You can see Mickey in the background. And then he was later seen walking through Fantasyland with a pink bubble gun. What is Lindsey doing? I don't know why he's there, but it's a very weird world after all, I guess.
No, it's a very small world, I would say that.
Well, it just goes to show you that Lindsey Graham doesn't care about nobody but himself. Remember when he said that we were going to blow them up? You know, he said that. It was really disgusting. Talking about the people in Iran. We're going to blow them to smithereens. So why would Lindsey Graham say something like that? Ignorant. Exactly, Shanoa. It's our young ones. It's the young men and women that are going over there, putting their life on the line because Donald Trump wants to take something that doesn't belong to him. How is that okay? How can you decide that you're going to go somewhere and take something that does not belong to you? It just blows my mind.
Ride still haunts me, Raymond.
And then Laura Ingraham is talking to this guest, MAGA Republican Congress member Pat Fallon. And she's like, all right, like, could we recognize that Iran is not Venezuela? Like, you see the struggle as Fox is like, oh, we're not going to be able to defend this. We're not going to be able to defend this. Here, play this clip.
So I honestly do not see, frankly, Laura, an end to this unless we absolutely break their back, and that's going to involve at least American special operators on the ground, allies in the region, the Kurds in the north, and then the Iranian people to rise up, because 80% of them hate this regime.
Well, they don't have weapons either, so that's a little tough to have.
That means that gave me a whole new perspective. I thought that they were over there celebrating and was in love with Donald Trump. But 80% hates us. 80% of the Iranian people hate us. But we make that make sense. It doesn't. It doesn't. These people hate us. That means that if they come out their house and see an American, they're gonna shoot. Everybody's armed, all 80 people. They will get ready. Oh man. Okay. Hello, Control. Hello, welcome. It's so good to see you. And welcome, you guys in the bushes. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm really trying to get to 7,000 subscribers. And also, too, I'm trying to reach a gold. My super chat, super sticker goals every day. And if you guys could help me out, that would be awesome. I'm going to set the goal real quick.
Have a revolution when nobody on the ground is armed. Congressman, very complex. It's a lot more complex. It's not Venezuela. It's more complicated than that. But the idea that this is a quagmire, I heard that and I spit out my coffee. I was laughing. Sorry. I mean, this is ridiculous. Questions, risks, but not a quagmire. So knock it off.
And more from Laura Ingraham right here, as she was basically saying, well, looks like this war is kind of escalating, and Donald Trump says he's going to attack the electrical grids, desalination facilities. We may be sending in special forces, and we're going to try to take over Carg Island. Okay, we've got a lot of questions, some more questions we got to ask. Watch Laura Ingraham right here. Let's play this clip.
So if we cannot come to some type of peace deal with people who can't be trusted, then what? Well, looks like the U.S. is going to escalate. President Trump is already warning of widespread further damage, threatening to hit electric generating plants, oil wells, and Carg Island, as he's reportedly considering sending.
Oh, is that what they said? I thought they were talking about us. Let me see if I can go back.
Laura, an end to this unless we absolutely break their back, and that's going to involve at least American special operators on the ground, allies in the region, the Kurds in the north, and then the Iranian people to rise up, because 80% of them hate this regime.
Well,
that doesn't make sense.
Unless we absolutely break their back, and that's going to involve at least American special operators on the ground, allies in the region, the Kurds in the north, and then the Iranian people to rise up, because 80% of them hate this regime.
Okay.
well, they don't have
I get it now. You're right.
weapons either, so that's a little
Yeah,
little tough.
you're right. I got it. Yeah. They don't like the regime. They don't like it. I still say that's not our problem. And I still say that we're not helping, we're not over there to fight for those people. Donald Trump is not over there to fight for those people. He could care less. That's what I'm trying to, I just want that to be clear. That that's not why we're doing this. I feel for the people. I really do. I feel for them. They don't have what they need or what they want. Maybe even this little bit will spark something different from them. But we are not, I wouldn't trust Americans. I would not trust us and say, oh, they like us. They're trying to save us. They care. How does America care about the Iran? Explain that to me. Explain that to me. Make it make sense. I am too, Marine. Marine, thank you for my super chat. Thank you for my super chat. Marine, thank you for my super chat. Marine, thank you for my super chat. Woo! Woo! All right, that's what I'm talking about right there. When you get a super chat, you're so excited. You feel so good. You feel so special. And it's an unbelievable feeling. Trust. If you ever get a channel and get some super stickers, they're awesome. I've been giving a lot away lately too. I've been super chatting it around this sucker. Yes, he said he is safe. Thank you so much. Can we put some hearts and some Xanadu's in the chat for Marine, please? And we are about to shut this live down and move on. He's almost done talking. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, let me know, guys. Exactly, CC, that is going on. I don't see us being this wonderful country at the moment and trying to help them have regime change. That's that stupid stuff. You should be fine. I'm sure you're going to be fine, Doodoo Bird. I know they want them to rise up against their own government to help them, so they can turn around and destroy while they're destroying their country. That's that stupid stuff. Hello, Paul. Pokey, I don't, but I'm so glad you're here. You do look familiar. Welcome. Well, of course, that would be great. That's a great idea. I mean, that's just the bonus, isn't it? That is not why we're doing this. That is not this. What you're saying is not why Donald Trump is doing this. He does not have their regime in mind. He could give a damn. He don't care about us. Why in the hell would he care about them? God, it's just common sense. David. You know? Dale. Pokey. Oh, okay. Yes. You did. Now I remember you, sweetheart. Thank you, Shanoa. Great point. Comment of the moment. Comment of the moment. Okay, let's see.
Tough to have a revolution when nobody on the ground is armed. Congressman, very complex. It's a lot more complex. It's not Venezuela. It's more complicated than that. But the idea that this is a quagmire, I heard that. I spit out my coffee. I was laughing. Sorry. I mean, this is ridiculous. Questions, risks, but not a quagmire. So knock it off.
And more from Laura Ingraham right here, as she was basically saying, well, looks like this war is kind of escalating, and Donald Trump says he's going to attack the electrical grids, desalination facilities. We may be sending in special forces, and we're going to try to take over Carg Island. Okay, we've got a lot of questions, some more questions we got to ask. Watch Laura Ingraham right here. Let's play this clip.
So if we cannot come to some type of peace deal with people who can't be trusted, then what? Well, looks like the U.S. is going to escalate. President Trump is already warning of widespread further damage, threatening to hit electric generating plants, oil wells, and Carg Island.
Wow.
As he's reportedly considering sending ground troops in to secure the uranium.
Why the hell would he bomb all their resources, all the things that they need to survive, all the things that, is there for them? Why would you hinder these people's resources? But you're helping them. Make that make sense. No. No, what you're going to end up doing is making these people poor. Because they're going to have to fix the damages that we created. And they don't have the money to do that. And that's why the leaders was like, you're going to have to pay for this war. We want you to fix what you have already broken. And we want you to leave us alone. No, that's the real story. You got to catch the real story. Yeah. Okay, I think my other show is about to start. And I got to do something to the pool. So we're going to shut it down. Come back to the other show. Okay? Come back to Megan. We're going to watch the interview, the exclusive, the one and only Megan and Oprah. The interview that ruined it all for her. The interview that took Megan all the way down. The interview that left her in a situation where she was not going to be loved. She put herself in a situation where she pretended she was the victim. And people saw how the queen opened up the doors for her. And what did Megan do? She got on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And that was the beginning of the end. And so that's what we're going to be talking about on the show. Okay, see you in a sec. I got to go fix the pool. If we don't get this pool together, we're going to have to drain it and do some other stuff. But anyway, see you in a sec.